would you add the Penguins to that list? Would you make them the 7th blue blood in the National Hockey League?
You know what? I think so. I think, I know what I just said. I know what I just said about market size, but also history is a huge part of what the NHL loves to rely on. And I mean, since 1984, you could argue the Penguins have had the best player in the league. That's almost 30, 40 years of dominance. I mean, sure, we haven't had dominance for all 40 years. We've been to the mountaintop, we've been to the cellar, we've seen it all in that span. But you can make the argument that it's there. I mean, beyond, I forget what the number is. Don't we have isn't 5 cups outside of the original 6 tied for the most?
It is. It is tied with Edmonton for the most Stanley Cup championships outside of the original 6, and more than
The
I'd have to look
Islanders.
back, more than the Rangers. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
I believe so too. But yes.
I'll look that up, but yeah, go continue.
So I would say because of the success in such a short amount of time, you put the Penguins up there because of their reign with Mario Lemieux, because of the times with Jaromir Jagr, and then feeding that into the Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin era. Not to mention 16 consecutive postseason appearances in these past 2 decades. It's definitely something that puts the Penguins on that pedestal. Mm-hmm. And if you want to argue to take them off, I could see your argument as well, but I just believe they are absolutely a part of it.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Penguins do indeed obviously have more Stanley Cups than the New York Rangers. The Rangers have 4, the Penguins have 5, and also the Pittsburgh Penguins have won 5 in 6 Stanley Cup Finals appearances, whereas the Edmonton Oilers have 5 in 7. So another little asterisk there that leads towards the Pittsburgh Penguins. But I think the big thing that you mentioned there was they've had one of, if not the league's biggest star play under their logo for the last 40 seasons. And they've been a team for, 55, 56 seasons? So 40 of 56 seasons, they had one of the league's most marketable superstars on their roster. And not just one, right? You see all the other names that have been to Pittsburgh and played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Evgeny Malkin, obviously. Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously. Go back a little bit further. You had Jaromir Jagr, Ron Francis, Rick Tocchet, all of these names that are synonymous in hockey history with success. They played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mark Recchi's another name that has to be brought up, a guy that has won Stanley Cups in 3 different cities. He did so in Pittsburgh in his rookie year back in 1991. So the Pittsburgh Penguins have a history of winning. And also, you mentioned it, money is important because being a blue blood means that you're always in the nation's forefront. You're always in the national spotlight. You're always in the national eye. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are often in that spotlight. We always say it every year. Once February is over, almost every other Pittsburgh Penguins game is on national television. How many times have the Pittsburgh Penguins played outdoor games at a big national spot where the league needs to bring in revenue, needs to bring eyes to the product? It's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, is that because of the Penguins or because of Sidney Crosby? It's because of Sidney Crosby. But considering the fact that this team has won Stanley Cups in multiple different decades and multiple different dynasties and multiple different eras, they are one of the most important, if not the most important, non-original 6 franchise to the National Hockey League, and they are certainly deserving of the title of a blue blood in my eyes.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's the history that's there. It's the faces that have been there. It's the success. You didn't even mention guys like Larry Murphy, Paul Coffey on the blue line, Tom Barrasso in the net, and names have filtered through even in their short periods of time too. We've had faces, we've had names, and then we've had success. It's all the more reason why this team should be talked about in that kind of discussion and in the national eye ever since Lemieux got here.